Good afternoon, Patriots. And welcome to another edition of Quarantime. Special shout out to all my mods. Special shout out to my girlfriend, whom I love so much. Special shout out to every Patriot in the room. We've got several interesting topics today. What up, Dana? Myself, RP, and my co-host, M3. Okay, that is... I don't even understand that comment, but... Please do me a favor. Remember to like and share this broadcast on your favorite social media platform. Also gotten several comments recently that people have been unsubscribed. Take the time to go to my page, make sure you're still subscribed, and make sure you've got the all notifications bell hit. Even if you do that, the chances that you will get all my notifications are pretty low. But you can bet we're always here at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday. And I'm back at 6 Monday through Thursday. And if it's not right at 6, it'll be shortly thereafter. And then always, Fridays at 10 p.m. and Saturdays at 9 and Sundays at 7. All right, gang, please do sit back, relax, grab your popcorn, and we'll be right back after a brief word from our sponsor. Panic is highly contagious, especially in situations when nothing is known and everything is in flux. Well, the world we live in today is in flux, and it's filled with a flood of information that's often as much gossip as fact. Now, that makes it hard to know what the situation really is, and it also makes it easy for people to panic and make bad decisions. The only way not to get caught up in that chaos is to have a plan allowing you to avoid dealing with empty store shelves, long lines, and in the worst case, desperate people. Use today to prepare. A great place to start is storing food in your home, and I'm prepared myself, and I even ordered more recently. Now, the experts at My Patriot Supply have told me that orders have now reached about 100 times the normal volume, and they're shipping on a first-come, first-served basis. With this unprecedented emergency, orders are being delayed, sometimes 8 weeks or more. I urge you to add your order to mine today, because the sooner you order, the sooner you can get your purchase. Take action so you're ready for what's coming and save $70 on a 2-week emergency food kit when you go to my special website, preparewithredpill78.com. Those that know what's coming are preparing today. Go to preparewithredpill78.com. Once again, that's preparewithredpill78.com. And remember, when you support my sponsors, you support this channel. Welcome back. Welcome. And there's two of me. Lord. I got it.
Every time.
You know what I could do, Methods? I could just make it so that you're big on the screen and then I've got myself on the side, but then we wouldn't have the bunker. I really enjoy broadcasting from the bunker. I feel like there's a certain aesthetic that I bring across with this survivalist mentality. I mean, this is the Wild West in so many different ways. I mean, we are going through so many things that I don't know that any of us ever could have anticipated, but it really is a different time. How you holding up, buddy?
Man, I'm doing good. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm good. I'm back on the monsters.
Right? Oh, man.
Just one, guys. Just one.
Yeah, that's how it starts.
I know. Oh, man. Okay, guys. I want to know how many people watching here right now. We've got just over 2,000 people watching. How many of you have received your stimulus check? Give us a 1 for yes. Give us a 2 for no. Yes. Life coach. Vaporwave aesthetic. Nightwave aesthetic. That's what I do on the other shows. But this is bunker chic aesthetic. So yes, 1 for yes on your stimulus check. 2 for no on your stimulus check. And, man, why is it holding these comments for review? Look at that. Virtually every single comment is being held for review. That is very strange. I don't know.
I've been seeing that on comments that have nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. I mean, you guys can see it right here, but I mean, I'm sure on your computer screen it's not showing you all of these different comments. Is it because they're trying to make it so that we can't have, casual polls like this anymore?
I have no idea, but there's nothing wrong with a number.
No, nothing wrong at all.
But with that said, I am seeing a lot of mixed,
yeah,
ones and twos here.
Yeah, I definitely have noticed that a lot of comments are being blocked automatically, and there seems to be absolutely nothing wrong with them.
I mean, we've got some of the best mods out there. They know what to pick up and what to take down, real quick. They're really great at that. So it's definitely not on our end.
Mm-hmm. No. Tyler, I don't think we're going to get polled. I think that it's YouTube. I found out. Okay, yeah, I mean, it's got to be them, Well, speaking of the possibility of something taking place, we intimated yesterday that there was potentially some new information that was coming out from who knows where, and our good old friend Billy G, his company, his foundation. Well, the thing is, we are still investigating. We've been unable to, up until this point, to verify the veracity of the information provided in there. So we're not going to talk about it directly. On top of that, we just had these new signals that were sent by Susan W. That if we were to say anything that went against the common narrative, that we could have our videos pulled. We don't want to have any of these videos pulled. Obviously, I think we've done a pretty good job up to this point to making sure that we talk about things that are important, but we do it in such a way so that we can, get around whatever roadblocks might be there.
Right. Yeah. I had a little conversation with our friend White Hat about it.
Yeah.
And he believes that this situation actually occurred before, and it's kind of being brought up again now.
Yeah.
Once again, he wasn't too sure, but he did say that there's a lot of investigation going on into it.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, like we were saying, we're going to kind of withhold judgment till, more information comes out, because if they are, targeting channels for saying certain stuff, we don't want to have to dance around the words too much. We want free speech, and we want to be able to talk smoothly and calmly. But yeah, I mean, that's all we can really say right now, huh?
Yeah. If we get information that is reportable, we will definitely tell people. I just showed all comments on poll. Okay, well, Hog, thanks for helping out, buddy. So there was another thing that happened yesterday. There was what people were thinking was a new drop from that journalistic organization that Julian used to run. Well, the information that was in that is old, like almost 10 years old, perhaps even older. It's been out there for a while, and I don't really understand how it started getting spread around as if it was new, but I did not see anything new in there, guys. That doesn't mean that it's not something you should go through and look through. If you've never seen it, by all means, go ahead and take a look. But keep in mind, there is definitely information in there which is incorrect, and I know because I saw it yesterday. But I suggest that if anybody has never seen that information presented before, go ahead and take a look, but just know that it's not something new that's been dropped. I need to say welcome to Daddy Crab for joining as a member. I sell cat litter. Trump authorizes U.S. Navy to sink and destroy all Iranian gunboats that harass U.S. Navy ships in international waters. That is a dangerous game those guys are playing, and President Trump is not having it. Why would we want to give our Navy the grief of having to deal with, what are essentially a couple of speedboats out in the middle of the ocean? Go ahead, man. Take care of yourselves, guys. Get those flies out of there, swat them away, and then perhaps maybe they will leave us alone in the future. Danny B says, hey, RP and Methods. I recently turned 21, and my mom, 43, is starting chemo and radiation for astrocytoma. I would really appreciate some prayers. All right, Danny, I'm so sorry to hear about your mom. I really do hope that she's going to be okay, and I ask that everybody in the chat please pray for Danny's mom. I hope that you are in a position to help her with a variety of treatments. There's a lot of information out there that you can find. And if you send me an email, I might even have a list of some things that would be worthwhile to give a shot at. Van Yoga Finance says, I am finding red YouTuber commercials are more numerous and lengthy. Yesterday I had 16 minutes. 16 minutes?
Jeez.
Dude, okay, so that's obviously something that they're doing to try to dissuade you from watching the video. I mean, I appreciate it if you made it through 16 minutes of commercials. That's insanity. Wow. Okay. Can you tell me if... Okay, here's something I can definitely tell you. If you see a commercial on my video, and you don't have to watch the whole thing. Like, you only have to watch like a certain portion of it for it to count as a view. So let's say if it's like a 30-second commercial, or even like a 45 or a minute or more, if you watch like the first like 15 to 30 seconds of it, then it counts as a view and you can skip past it, and they consider it as somebody having seen the full ad. But 16 minutes of commercials. I am so sorry, guys. I had absolutely no idea. That's the first time I've heard that many. Red Pills Warhawk, my brother from another mother, says, I like the bunker, bro. I need some graphics for Methods Tomahawk. Yeah, Methods. Did I send you his email address? Didn't I send it over to you?
All you sent me was an image of something that he had made.
Oh.
But I didn't see any email with it.
Okay. Well,
but yeah, buddy, we'll get it to you. I got a few ideas I'll send your way, man. I appreciate it. And I appreciate everybody clicking like that night, getting it up to that point for me to earn the privilege of getting a free Tomahawk. That's going to be pretty cool.
I'm very, very excited to see what you do for Methods. And you guys, I'm actually going to be putting out a tweet after the show, which is going to give you Red Pills Warhawk's Twitter profile, so you can reach out to him on Twitter as well. I highly recommend getting yourself an awesome custom Tomahawk. Ursula1111 says, Red Pill and M3, the best. Please give a shout out to my 23-year-old daughter, Madison, who is listening for the first time. She's been swallowing red pills daily. Incredible to witness. Proud mama bear. Madison, welcome to the family. We're very glad you're here. Hope you enjoy the show. It's a good one.
Yeah, what's up, Madison? Hope you're enjoying yourself. And Ursula, has been around for a while on Twitter. She's great.
Good stuff. Pat M., thank you for that. Oh, my good friend, Black Conservative Patriot here. He says, I am so tired of this bunkering. We're leaving California in the next few days. I'm taking my family on vacation. Maybe we'll meet up with fellow Patriots in the coming weeks for an informal manner. Big hug to Red Pill and M3. Let me know where you're going to be, dude. And if we can stretch it, we will definitely meet up. Daddy Crab says, why is Fauci MIA? Methods, do you have any insight on that? Has Fauci been missing from the press conferences lately?
Yeah, I caught Trump talking about that in some of the presser that I caught, because he hasn't been around, and that's fine to me. Mm-hmm. I could care less whatever he's doing. But no, they haven't had him there. They've had other experts, quote unquote, instead. So I don't know why they didn't really explain it, but yeah.
All right. Well, Daddy Crab, thank you for that. BCP, thanks for that. X-Man Teef 1 says, Virginia study has been debunked, national file. I don't know if I know about the Virginia study, but maybe we'll look into it. EO2 Dave says, I use an ad blocker on my computer. The phone is the worst for commercials for me. I can totally appreciate your use of an ad blocker, EO2 Dave, but if you use an ad blocker, then I don't get any revenue from YouTube having people watch the video. That's everybody's personal opinion. But for those who don't, just know that I appreciate it, because I'm happy to bleed them dry. Let's just be honest. Navy Vet says, did you all see the letter Kim Clement wrote to Trump? His daughter read it on her YouTube channel. I have not. Methods, did you see it?
No, I haven't. It's news to me.
Yeah,
I like learning things from the chat, man. Like we don't try to act like we know everything. We don't want people to assume we know everything.
Yeah,
we catch a lot of things just randomly being talked about, and we just go and find it ourselves, and we're grateful that it gets talked about.
For sure. And X-Man Teef 1, thank you for that as well. My good friend Matthew from Truth Not Fiction Matters just sent me a text, and I let him know I was on the air. So Matthew, if you're watching, what's up, buddy? We can talk after the show. Sue Randall says, Fauci has been AWOL since he blurted out that CV came from bats. Very interesting. Very interesting. Well, like Method said, I'm not sad to see Fauci gone. All right, well, let's get into our first little bit of business methods. We have this incredible clip that you pulled out from an AG Barr interview. Can you set this up for us?
Right. Yeah. He was being interviewed. And I don't remember the name of the guy that was interviewing him. I hadn't seen the guy before.
Yeah, me either.
But Barr was asked the question that we all been kind of wondering about for a while, and it's can indictments happen like close to the election, right?
Mhm.
Like, would that be considered? And of course, the media would spin it and say that it's election tampering, but he asked the honey badger himself.
Mhm.
And his answer was, well, none of the people that are being investigated by Durham right now are running for president.
Mhm.
And so far, all we've got is Biden, running. So that leaves everybody else available. And he says he doesn't consider it a problem. He said now if it's somebody super close, maybe the VP pick, that could be considered tampering. Apparently it's in some kind of like attorney general, like guidebook type thing saying that they can't. But yeah, man, go ahead and play the clip.
Okay, let's cue this up.
Investigation of U.S. Attorney John Durham into the circumstances surrounding the surveillance of President Trump's campaign, transition, and early administration. Does that investigation remain on track, undisturbed by the virus?
Yes.
There are guidelines concerning the announcement of indictments or the closing of investigations prior to the election. When is that deadline for U.S. Attorney Durham, and do you think he will make it either to disclose indictments or to disclose that the investigation is over?
As far as I'm aware, none of the key people whose actions are being reviewed at this point by Durham are running for president.
But would not the announcement of indictments after a time certain have an impact on an election of the sort that the U.S. Attorney's Manual recommends against?
Well, what is the sort that the manual recommends against?
As I recall, this came up with Director Comey making his announcement and the concerns in 2016 that he had acted improvidently during the run-up to the election. I don't recall what the exact timing is.
Yeah, well, that was directly as to a candidate.
Oh, so it would not matter in your view if there's an investigation and the day before the election someone is indicted?
Well, I think, in its core, the idea is you don't go after candidates. You don't indict candidates or perhaps someone that's sufficiently close to a candidate that it's essentially the same, within a certain number of days before an election. But, as I say, I don't think any of the people whose actions are under review by Durham fall into that category.
All right, so it sounds to me like James Comey made up some stuff from the U.S. Attorney Handbook, or was perhaps misinterpreting it. Bill Barr has no problem letting somebody get indicted in the run-up to the election. My girlfriend said that Craig made a point yesterday, and this is something we've said here on the program before. President Trump is going to use this situation in terms of political expediency. If something was to go down too far out from the election, then it would be possible for the press to bury this stuff. So it's going to happen at the exact perfect time for it to have an effect on the election. The American public has a very short time span on stories because of this very short news cycle we have. So it sounds like we don't need to wait for the election to be over, but think that President Trump is going to use it to take place at the perfect timing so that we have a consistent run-up to the election with reporting on the situation. What do you think about it, Methods?
First off, Trump's the right kind of crazy to do that, to use it. No, it's the best October surprise to have that go on for months, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like covering this information. It's going to take that long to literally explain it because of all these different pieces. Now, granted, we've had a lot of great people on Twitter and YouTube explaining things along the way as pieces, but to have it explained together as a whole through press conferences and, charts and graphs and all that stuff, it's going to need to happen, and it's going to be one of the greatest marketing strategies for the campaign. If you think about it, you use it correctly. You're just showing the crimes of the opposite side. You know, they'll call it political. I mean, Trump played mainstream media clips to them, and they called it propaganda. So they're going to spin and lie about all of this stuff. But to me, it's completely genius to do that and have these explainers happen over the summer and into the election.
Crash at 6871 said, is 4/10/20 the 4th of October 2020? That's an interesting thought. I know that people were looking at April 10th as well, but I mean, as far as we know right now, 4/10/20 is just the initials, DJT. But you know, I mean, that would place it as an October surprise. That'd be pretty sweet. Death Dealer had left a message, but then retracted it. Oh, thank God for the bourgeoisie. Says, if you have an extra $1 or $2, send some money to a food bank. Excellent idea. Survival Strategic, set up a store on Etsy where you can sell your tomahawks, Warhawk. I've been making a living running 3 different stores on Etsy for a couple years now. I'd love to buy one of your tomahawks. That's an excellent idea. Etsy is a great place to go for custom-made things like that. That would be honestly a great move to make. You know, as somebody who's looked for stuff on Etsy before, you kind of get into this hole, basically. It's like Twitter. You just get deeper and deeper and deeper, and next thing you know, your eyes are bleeding. Sue Randall, thank you again for that. Big Joe Genius says, Red Pill and Methods, you guys are awesome. Always look forward to your shows, sending some light your way. Thank you very much. EO2 Dave says, I hope my super chats make up for lost revenue from one view. Yes, it does, EO2 Dave. I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew what was going on. But I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you. Even if you didn't donate, just the fact that you're here, it means a lot. Jill Forthman, thank you for that. Mark Higdon has joined as a member. Thank you, Mark. Lowe's Van Doggen says, Fauci equals evil. Ask Dr. Judy. Can I mail in a question for her? Well, just make sure you're here on the night that we are going to be talking. It's going to be on May 9th at 9 p.m. Be here. Dr. Judy and I will be discussing her book and the whole situation. And you guys will have the opportunity to ask her questions. You'll be able to send the super chats, and then you can also call in during the second half of the program. Jared Kirkpatrick says, hello from Seattle. Why do you think Missouri is going forward with a lawsuit against China over the CV? Wouldn't that be handled at the federal level? It could be handled at the federal level, but it could also be handled at the state level. I mean, think about it. There is individual impact to each state, as well as an individual impact to the United States as a whole. I think that if each of our 50 states filed separate lawsuits for specific damages, and then the federal government also filed a lawsuit for the entirety of the United States, that would be far more impactful than just a single lawsuit at the federal level. I would love that. Cindy DeKeen says, Pelosi ice cream equals DNC, stocked and available, FTM. FTM. Do you know what that means, FTM methods?
No, man, I haven't been decoding freezers and ice cream, so I don't know.
Yeah. And then thank you for that, though, Cindy. Race Terry Blue has joined as a member as well. Thank you, Terry. Appreciate that, buddy. All right, so I think that things are looking good here. I mean, Bill Barr is sending a lot of signals, all right? He wants people brought to justice. He doesn't have a problem with indictments happening, even with this election coming up. And I think he really does want some type of restoration and justice here in America. These people have absolutely destroyed our country in so many different ways, and the only reason that we're doing anything good is because of President Trump. I mean, you look back to 2016 and look at how many people, universally, they just did not want Trump there. They thought he was a buffoon. He comes into office, and he turned a lot of heads, okay? He showed anybody who was against him that he was helping America and that he was restoring this country. And there were people, I think that, wasn't it at one time, like Mark Meadows really didn't even have a real warm eye towards him. He was skeptical of whether or not he was going to do a good job. And now what, he's the chief of staff at the White House, you know?
Right. I mean, a lot of people voted for Trump because he wasn't Hillary, but they were obviously still, skeptical, right? I mean, we didn't know what he would be like as a president, obviously being very successful, understanding business, understanding, the international landscape of how countries work with each other, obviously also being privy to a lot of these crimes and stuff that need to be fixed, and having the right people around him, certain ones speaking in his ear, helping him through this. I mean, I was thinking about this the other day when I was watching his presser and him just manhandling the media. Like, Trump's gotten really good at being president.
Yeah, he has.
If you think about it, like over the years, like in the beginning, he's still always been Trump. He's still going to talk like Trump and do all that. But as far as how he's carrying himself and these things, he's becoming more presidential in a way that we would want it to be. Not the suit and tie wearing, talking point barking stuff that they all say. He's not an empty suit. He's being a president the way that he sees it. And it's just been great to watch him grow.
Yeah, it's been a real joy for me personally, as I'm sure it has been for all of you guys too. I need to say thank you to E. Kelly. What happened to if you can't do the time, don't do the crime? If they lose the election, they shouldn't have done the crimes. Personal responsibility. Absolutely. The thing about it is they've been getting away with it for so long in this country. They never thought that they would be in the situation with President Trump being president. They never thought that they would have to answer for the crimes that they have been committing for so many years, so many decades. Jeff Hughes says F to M is female to male. Okay. I get you. And then also Kayla Proud Mama 23 has joined as a member. Thank you, Kayla. Appreciate it. Also want to let everybody know yet again, if you want to specifically donate to Mr. and Mrs. M3, you can do that through his PayPal link, which is in the description of the video. And I'm sure that JoJo or Wheezy Girl will go ahead and share that, or even Real Red Pill Girlfriend, maybe. Quent A. Sentinel. When is your show with Nasara Gassara with guest scheduled to run? That will be on Friday night. That will be with Deb and Scott, and we're going to have a full 2 hours. We're going to be talking about Nasara and spiritual warfare. There's going to be a whole bunch of stuff that we're going to be talking about. Should be a really great show, so make sure you tune in. That'll be 10 p.m. on Friday night. Let's see. The next little bit of information we wanted to discuss was the fact that the U.S. Senate yesterday passed another $484 billion CV-19 stimulus bill, which is wonderful for America. It's going to go a long way towards helping people get back to work, keeping people on the payroll, kind of just greasing those wheels. And also, I want to say this. I noticed President Trump had mentioned that places like Harvard, which has a ridiculously large endowment provided by the United States government already, they're going to be giving back all the money that they got from the PPP, from the Paycheck Protection Program. And they're not the only ones. There's going to be some other large companies and large organizations that are going to be giving that money back. Why? Because they don't deserve it. That money was meant for American small business, to help people like you and I who might be on the verge of losing everything that we have. Harvard does not need any more money. Methods, did you happen to see President Trump say that?
Yeah, he said something along the lines of, if Harvard doesn't give the money back, I'm gonna have to do so. I'm not gonna do something, and that's obviously giving them the grants and stuff like that, because they do get a lot of it, and they just keep ramping it up. It's supposed to be there to help people who financially need the help to get into these education systems, even though we think that the whole systems are broken and they need to be decimated and changed. But they end up just increasing, the tuitions and increasing the cost of living to be there. And it's just became such a money grab. And that you've even got people selling credit cards to these kids that don't know that they're getting themselves into debt. They catch them selling credit cards to them outside the building.
Yeah.
And they just bury them in debt. This whole system's been set for that. So I was really glad to see Trump call out Harvard. Well, and it needs to happen across the board.
Oh, yeah. I mean, so many other organizations doing the same thing, not to mention the hundreds of millions of dollars these institutions of higher learning receive from the governments of foreign nations. Okay, how much money do you think was funneled into Harvard from Red China? I mean, like, just as a single example. Let's see. Cindy DeKine says Pelosi IC equals DNC champagne money available. Follow the money. Yeah, there's all kinds of money that Nancy Pelosi and her ilk are funneling and siphoning off. I'm sure that plenty of these bills for the stimulus money has been siphoned off. EO2 Dave says, did you catch Roseanne on Quite Frankly? Methods and I did catch Roseanne on Quite Frankly.
That was epic.
Yeah. It was really, really nice. She did a great job. Frank did a great job, too. I got emotional a couple of times with her, and I really, really enjoyed it. I would love to have Roseanne back sometime in the future. So, let us know what you guys thought of that information that Roseanne put out yesterday on Quite Frankly. He's a great channel, and if you can support Frank, then I highly suggest you do.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop his channel in here. He deserves to have more eyes on him, because I love how he covers things and thinks about stuff, and has no problem putting out his opinion. Even when it goes against everybody else's. I don't like missing his show. I'll just put it at that.
Let's see. Homebody Heaven says Trump Unleashed is awesome. Yes, I absolutely love it. Live Free or Die says Harvard came out today and is refusing to pay back the money. Well, I hope that they are ready to get different sources of funding. President Trump better sign an executive order taking away any money that Harvard is getting from the federal government. Harvard doesn't need any more money. Harvard can go to their alumni and get all of the funding that they need. I mean, how much money do you think they already siphon off? This is disgusting. Harvard, you are not good.
They keep messing around that it's going to get turned into a Trump Tower.
Yeah. Oh man, what if they made like the Donald J. Trump administration building at Harvard? People would lose their minds. Death Dealer, I just want to say also I love the Nosferatu avatar. Darling USA 1, to me, FTM is F the media. Can't help it. I hate them and what they've done to otherwise good people. I can totally agree with you there. One Woke Norseman says, hey there, RP and M3. Standing firm here in the capital city of Berlin, Michigan. Wokeness is amazingly afoot. Hooah. God bless you, RP. You woke this 55-year-old stubborn vet, and words cannot express my gratitude and love. Thank you. Peace. Man, that's awesome. I love hearing that. I really appreciate it. I'm glad that you're here watching with us, man. Thank you for your service, too. Elizabeth Cole says, wow, watch Q-Bit's Good Dog episode 150 SRA victim. I'm not familiar with the channel, but I'll go ahead and check it out. Red Pills Warhawk says, hey, Jude is one of the most loving and caring people I have ever met, but treated me like one of her own, a true patriotic American. All my love, Jude. I will go ahead and second that motion. Hey Jude is a really outstanding person, and she got her son a tomahawk made by Red Pills Warhawk, and it was beautiful. And I suggest that you guys do the same, because it's a really cool gift that you can give someone, and I think a lot of people in our audience would appreciate it. Dale Bercier says, sorry, I'm not down with the repetitive commercials. So there's that. And Dale, which one are you talking about? Are you saying that when you watch the videos, you use an ad blocker? I mean, like I said, it's a personal choice. I mean, if you want to watch YouTube using an ad blocker, I mean, there's nothing I can do to stop it. I'm just saying that if you don't use an ad blocker, I'm letting you know I appreciate it. Our Dr. D says Harvard is refusing to send back the money, not using for PR. Yeah, that is really not cool of Harvard, and I'd certainly hope that President Trump does something. And I will say this. President Trump is a man of his word. He said yesterday he was going to take action if Harvard didn't want to give it back. Well, let's go ahead and let's take some action on it. So, good thing here with the Senate passing that bill. Just to break it down, $310 billion is going into the Paycheck Protection Program. And Steve Mnuchin did say yesterday that they were going to be taking a very close look at who the applicants in this program are, because they want to avoid things like Harvard or what was it, the Shake Shack from getting the money. Companies that have hundreds of millions of dollars in cash reserves, they don't need to be getting this additional money. This is for people who have no cash reserves and they want to keep a small business going. This is the way that it was designed to work. We don't need to be giving Harvard and Shake Shack hundreds of millions of dollars. Absolutely insane. So we've got a story about Adam Schiff, too. Methods, you want to cue this one up for us? Adam Schiff secretly held on to transcripts in the Russia probe.
Yeah, let me grab it real quick, because he's been such an obstacle along the entire way, with his memo and stuff, counteracting the Nunes memo that we keep talking about. Well, apparently he was telling DNI Coates, the one that we knew was the bottleneck for information coming out, the bad apple, as our favorite Anon is referred to him as, stopping him from releasing transcripts that were supposed to be released, probably a lot of the ones that we've been able to read now, stopping them because it would hurt their cause of Russia, and all that. So that's basically what it's about.
Yeah, he sent a threatening letter to Coates, said, under no circumstances shall the ODNI or any other element of the House Intelligence Committee share any HPSI transcripts with the White House. That's the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. You know what's really interesting is the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence used to be run by Devin Nunes, and then once there was that bit of a shakeup in Washington, the control went over to Adam Schiff. HPSI is the committee that our good friend Nate Kane was trying to get information to, and he's spoken about it in the past, and unfortunately, Adam Schiff kind of threw a monkey wrench in it. So something tells me that there was some really good information that was coming through HPSI, and Adam Schiff was stonewalling the entire time. So he says that the transcripts are the sole property of HPSI, and they were transmitted to the ODNI for the limited purpose of enabling a classification review. Absolutely ridiculous for Adam Schiff to be threatening the ODNI. It reminds me of the story yesterday when Schiff tried to threaten new acting ODNI, Richard Grinnell, and said that Grinnell should not have the ability to hire or fire while he's the acting ODNI. And it's just a ridiculous assertion to make. There is activities that Schiff, in terms of his role on the Intelligence Committee, and activities that the DNI is meant to oversee, and it's a separation of powers. Okay. And so, DNI Coates, he was bad from the get-go, okay? He came in there and he immediately hurt Trump. He wasn't interested in helping to get any of this information out. And it makes me wonder what he was saying to Trump. What was he telling him up front? And then how was he acting behind the scenes? I think they were clearly two different sets of ideas that were being passed around.
Right. I'm dropping the article from Solomon covering that real quick in the chat. And I also want to say I see 5,400 people, give or take, here hanging out. 1.8 thousand likes on my end. If you guys can click that like button, that'd be great.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Let's see. Red Pills Warhawk says, I only get Black Rifle coffee commercials, so I love it. I tend to get Epic Times commercials. That's the only thing I ever see. Hari Bell says, it's pronounced Harry. Harry Bell. Thank you, Harry. Love you guys. Keep up the awesome job y'all are doing. Thank you very much, Harry, for being here, and I appreciate that. And Rusty Coat, not to be confused with Dan Coates, has joined as a member. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Rusty. So let's see. What else did we have? We had, Richard Burr. Do you guys remember Richard Burr? He's the Republican senator who, along with several other lawmakers, I believe Republicans and Democrats.
Real quick, Nana, Ina, hey, says that they're leaving. Too much misinformation we're giving out. Have a great day. Godspeed. I hope the best for you.
Yeah, I don't know what misinformation you think that we're giving out, but I mean, this is a communication that we have between us. So you're welcome to to speak to us in the chat and let us know whatever it is. But if you're just going to accuse us of misinformation and then not give any evidence, then I guess I don't know what to say. So we'll see you later. Also, Brent Lee says, petition for Roger Stone. Love the channel. God bless. Yeah, we do need a petition for Roger Stone. He definitely deserves a new trial. And hopefully somebody can go ahead and get something like that together. I would gladly share it around. Something tells me, Methods, I would like to get your opinion on this. Do you think that President Trump is going to do anything to help Roger Stone? I mean, he was open about it the other day, talking about the unfairness that the people in his orbit have been treated. And I would say that he's been fairly liberal with the number of pardons and commutations that he's been handing out. He's kind of working his way back through time. He's going to people who have been in prison the longest and letting them out. We got Bernard Carrick. We had several people who were apparently wrongfully convicted, it would seem. And this stuff with Manafort and Stone and Flynn, this is all relatively new. So there's a kind of a big backlog of people that are asking for these commutations and such. Do you think that President Trump is going to do something overt to help these guys?
Well, I mean, each case is different, right? I mean, they with the Stone thing, they were trying to throw the book at him on the amount of years, and it didn't seem fair. And if he had committed certain crimes, that whether he was trying to being involved with the I can't say some of the Guccifer stuff and all that mess, then yeah, I mean, let the punishment fit the crime, right? Okay, he did some things he shouldn't have done, but giving him the 9 years and the stigma of being such a criminal just because he was somehow connected to Trump, so to answer your question, it really depends on the case by case, but I do believe that he should definitely, like Manafort, definitely, should step in and do something, but depending on the situation, we might not know all the truths. If there justice needs to be served, let it be just. That's just how I feel about it. But no, if Trump needs to, he will. That's how I feel about it. Like I said earlier, he's the right kind of crazy to do things. I think he should if he believes it to be true and it's proven as such. I'm all for it.
Absolutely. I completely agree. Now, Richard Stewart had said that apparently Harvard never got the PPP check. Apparently it was for needy students. Here's what I have to say. Harvard already gets a lot of money from the federal government, and they already have programs in place for needy students to come and go to Harvard. They have what are they called? Grants and scholarships for people to come to Harvard. And then the people that are attending Harvard who are in need were already admitted and going to Harvard before this situation occurred. So what Harvard is doing is they see an opportunity to get free money, and then they can go ahead and use the money that was already earmarked for people who are needy students that are in need of grants and scholarships. And then they can use that money to do something else at Harvard. So regardless of how the money was used, I think that Harvard is definitely not in need. Harvard is not going to go out of business. However, many, many American small businesses will certainly go out of business, and then they will not be able to return. Harvard will never leave Massachusetts. Okay, they will be there, and if they ever need money, they can reach out to their alumni. They can reach out to the foreign governments that already fund them. They can reach out to a lot of different places to go ahead and get that money. So I think that it's unnecessary. I come from public policy and nonprofit background. I know how the grant world works. I know how these people think when they go and try to get this free money. They saw an opportunity for a cash grab, and they did it. They went for it. Let's see. Hugh Mann says, "Hi, RP. It would be interesting for you guys to have a chat with Jay Dyer. He's written a couple of books about Hollywood, does reviews of globalist books, and a pro at philosophy and religion. I am myself a subscriber of Jay Dyer. I would think it would be very interesting to have a conversation with him. He's very knowledgeable, a lot of different subjects. So yeah, I will go ahead and try to reach out to Jay. I would love having him on the program. Are you familiar with Jay Methods?"
No, I'm not.
Okay. Let's see. Thanks again, Brentley. Truth Not Fiction Matters, our good buddy Matthew. Give him another shout out. He says, "Misinfo is over at CNN. Have a nice day." Bye, Felicia. Sherry R. Campbell says, "Just saw on a bank statement I got my $1,200 in the bank on 4/15. Will share it with my friends and neighbors." Awesome, Sherry. God bless you. Appreciate that. Red Pills Warhawk says, hey, goodbye. Troll's gonna troll. Methods 2020. Thank you, Red Pills Warhawk. Eric Anderson, "I work in higher ed programming." Money laundering. There is a lot of money laundering going around in that type of an environment, whether it's higher education, nonprofit world, and many government contractors. Huge money laundering. Because there is such an enormous amount of money that sometimes it's difficult to account for it. Think back, recently we did the audit on the Pentagon, and how many trillions of dollars was just written off or unaccounted for because people weren't keeping good track of it. When you get large sums of money like that, it becomes very easy to go ahead and steal some for places like Harvard. Eric Anderson, thanks again. Stephanie Oostvin says, "Yeah, you broke my heart, RP. I sent pics of my monkey, not to brag, but to bring awareness. The exotic animal world has been attacked badly. We often stay silent out of fear. We are here with you. Hear our voices as well, please. Stephanie, did you want me to show pictures of your monkey on the show? I don't know. I don't know exactly what you're referring to, but I mean, I don't think that I've spoken poorly about people having pets or having exotic animals. If you want me to show the pictures of your monkey, I mean, I'll be happy to. I didn't realize those were for public consumption. Q-Wife Mogalife says, a beautiful warm day in SoCal with no chemtrails. Son of a Green Card says, just a thought. I know that there are a few posts about Dan Coates, but what if C before D was also our favorite Anon, saying that they knew way back then that Victoria Coates was the leak? That very well could be. I've considered that before. I don't know. What do you think, Methods?
Definitely plausible speculation, right? And I'm seeing a lot in the chat. You had brought up Richard Burr, and then we started chasing butterflies. So they just want to make sure we get back to that.
Thanks, guys. One more. Delana says, thanks for making my afternoon interesting. Glad that you're glad that your afternoon can be interesting here with us. So Burr was the lawmaker who did some insider trading based upon the classified briefing that he and his friends in Congress received in regards to CV-19. They knew that things were going to have to get shut down, or at least, that's what they were told. And what did they do? They came out and they told America that everything was fine, as they, should. They want to keep people calm. But then behind the scenes, they went and sold millions of dollars worth of stock. They divested themselves of industries that were going to, be hit the hardest as a result of all of this stuff. So now he's put out this Senate Intel Committee report based on the Mueller charges against that Russian company that was totally dropped. And I think that he's trying to divert people's attention away from his insider trading and put the spotlight back on this Russian narrative. Now, he's saying that the Russians did, in fact, affect the 2016 election to ensure that President Trump beat Hillary Clinton. And this is the way the mainstream media is spinning it. So it was Burr and Mark Warner together. They put out this report. They didn't support the information in the report, but they claimed that Russia influenced the 2016 election to try to help President Trump win. This is a garbage claim. This is absolutely BS. Nobody believes this. All right, it's completely made up. And we had Lou Dobbs and Devin Nunes discussing it on Lou Dobbs' program last night. So Burr has been a Trump hater, for a long time, from the very beginning. So it's not surprising to me that he's tried to put this information out there and tried to divert attention away from himself. The more he can get people talking about Russia, talking about, bringing this narrative back up, he thinks that the news cycle is going to get swallowed up yet again by this information. And then people will forget that he has done some insider trading and he's currently being investigated by the SEC. Methods, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah. Well, first off, I'm going to drop a tweet thread that's right on this topic from Undercover Huber, really breaking it down, because he points out the fact that this intel report that Burr's referring to is 70 to 80% redacted. And so you can say, you give me anything, a book, and take 80% of the pages out, I could tell you a bunch of stories that aren't in that and say it's true. So I'm dropping that link here in the chat now, because it's, once again, like you said, it diverts attention away because he looks like he's trying to be a white knight, calling out stuff. We do know in a weird way Russia was involved, because you did have Russians working with Steele. So if anything, the Democrats were working and paying for a dossier.
That's my point.
Yeah, so it is Russian collusion. So that's the argument, but all they're doing is running with the narrative and saying, okay, Russians did it.
Yeah.
Trump won. Russia is okay with Trump and they hate Hillary. Yeah, okay, so Russia collusion. That's all they're doing. And it's shameful and it's pathetic at this point.
Stephanie, would you just send me that email again, because I'm having trouble finding your email. I've got almost 1,200 emails on deck right now. So if you could just send it to me, then I will show it right now on the show. I would love to. The animals are very cute. I love them.
I do remember I do remember the conversation about that. I know a lot of people are asking, why are we talking about monkeys? You know, I don't remember the context specifically, but they were talking about specific monkeys.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So if to everybody wondering what they're referring to, it was a previous conversation that we've had on this channel.
Yeah, Stephanie called in one time, and she had one of her little fur babies that had escaped inside the home. And while we were on the phone talking to the guest, I guess she had this animal that kept running up her leg or trying to run by her or something like that.
I remember that.
Yeah, that was a good night. So just to show you a little preview of that Undercover Huber tweet thread. So, Comey being quoted about the Steele dossier. I insisted that we bring it to the party. Comey, we know he's fake. He's using this opportunity to reinforce the idea that Russian had something to do with it. They're just leaving out the fact that the Russians helped Christopher Steele, who was helping Hillary Clinton, who was trying to make sure President Trump didn't become President Trump. So it is, I thought the Dems were monkeys, EO2 Dave says. They are, most definitely.
And Roseanne jokes they are, I guess.
Yeah. All right. And then Rick Langdon, or Risa Langdon says, just look at the racket when coming to college textbooks. Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, as somebody who was in higher education for many years, it is an absolute racket. They will, make a textbook. They force people to buy the brand new one. And then like a year, maybe 2 years later, they will maybe switch around a couple of chapters, write a new introduction, maybe change the formatting just a little bit. And then you can go ahead and you have to buy a brand new book in order to take the class. And the old book won't work any longer. So there's also been some new revelations coming out about Christopher Steele. I'm sorry, not Christopher Steele, but coming out about Strzok and Page, Peter Strzok and Lisa Page. But before that, we have to talk about this article from the Washington Examiner, which has FBI officials, are these current or former FBI officials?
It says ex-FBI officials.
Okay, so but they're admitting that the former administration, the president, the last president, was directly involved with making sure that the dossier was included in all this information, was like to make sure that this was a main part of the narrative. And so it's pretty stunning to learn conclusively that the last president had a direct hand in the Steele dossier and in the information.
Right, yeah, and I'm going to drop that article here in the chat. And just full disclosure, I got this, I was made aware of this article in a reply to a tweet that I had retweeted. So I don't remember the name of the person, but if you're listening, thank you for that. It's made it to the show here. But yeah, I mean, that's what it's looking like, because the dossier was used in a lot of different situations, especially in the assessment, what was it called? The ICA?
Intelligence Community Assessment?
Yeah. That being involved in there is huge, because that has to do with them knowing then it was garbage, and that happened in December. In between, if I remember correctly, in between Trump being elected and then him taking office, they used it in the ICA. And that's a problem when it getting into the intel community being involved and not blowing the whistle on things and allowing things to move forward. That gets Brennan, that gets Clapper, and of course that would get the previous president. So the fact that happened is a big deal.
Richard Stewart says, my dad thinks it's cool that you reply to my chats. Tell your dad I think it's cool he's here with you. That's so great. There was another piece to the to that Steele dossier. It looks like there was some connection directly with No Name releasing that. Like there was a connection between the former president and No Name. They were like in on the idea that he was going to be circulating it around. So the connections go deeper, and it takes us back to that exit interview that B.O. did with NPR, that where he knowingly was pushing that false information that Russia had something to do with the election and trying to push President Trump into that seat. So every single person that was involved in the situation knew that it was absolute garbage from the very get-go. And it didn't matter because the only thing they cared about was making sure President Trump didn't make it into office.
Well, the argument that the FBI is trying to do is saying that they didn't know that it was garbage in the beginning and they were just following their leads, right? During 2016.
Yeah.
They were just following their leads. But now the information and what Durham's going back to is what happened before July. Right? Like when did they actually know this stuff? And I believe they're going to prove that it was, concocted by them and, Brennan and everybody. And that's where it's going to get really, really spicy.
So one of the new revelations coming out from this newly released documents from Strzok and Page, they were texting each other talking about Julian's WL organization and that they knew the DNC emails came from a certain DNC staffer whose first name was Seth. That's a pretty stunning revelation, and it flies in the face of every mainstream narrative, not only from the FBI, but also from the DNC, of course. Pretty amazing. So Judicial Watch just released these documents. They were obtained from a FARA request, and they show that Peter Strzok and Jonathan Moffa were copied in an email regarding a report from the Daily Mail in which ex-Brit Craig Murray claimed he traveled to Washington, D.C. to obtain those emails in a wooded area near American University. This is the infamous USB drive handoff, which I've seen talked about on many channels over the years. Now, it was tweeted out and included. Let me go ahead and go over and we'll take a look at the docs right here.
Right. Yeah, I'm going to drop the link in the chat to the document. It's like 150 pages, and they talk about a lot of interesting stuff in there.
Yeah. All right, Stephanie has gone ahead and sent those pictures again. I'm just waiting for them to come through. Let me make sure it didn't go to... Oh, there it is. Bella and Critter Pics. Okay, you guys. So let me download these. We've only got 4 minutes left on the show, so we're going to spend... Oops, that's the wrong song. Let me get these animal pics pulled up, and you guys can see these amazing critters that Stephanie has. They are extremely cute. There we go. Come on, open up. There we go. All right, here is one of the monkeys. This looks like Monkey Boo, if you guys know who Monkey Boo is. So I think that's a capuchin monkey. This is Bella right here. Look at, she has teeth. Stephanie, I'm so glad you didn't get her teeth pulled out. I just hate it when I see somebody with a monkey and they've had the teeth pulled out. It's so cruel, I think. Here is that little critter that I believe was running around the night that Stephanie called in. Is that like a catamundi, maybe? I don't know. I'd love to know exactly what type of animal that is. Oh my gosh, look at these tiny little monkeys. These are like golden crested pangolin, not pangolins, golden crested something or other, I believe. And then here is the ringtail. That was a baby cotamundi before. This is a ringtail possum. Beautiful. I love these guys. You're very lucky, Stephanie, to have these awesome animals, and I know that you treat them well.
Hey, more. They're asking for you to make the pictures bigger. They're not really that big on the screen, and the people are on their phone.
I made them as big as I could. Tell you what, guys, I'll put them out on Twitter. I will put them out in a post on my YouTube channel. You guys can see them there.
I also wonder if anybody's fascinated that Red Pill knows more about monkeys than he does about sports ball. So
I'm an animal person.
it might just be me, man. Go ahead.
All right, so Stephanie, glad that I got those out for you. EO2 Dave says, I thought the Dems were the monkeys. Fat Boy says, a post 1981 mentions Huma. We think Abaddon, but what if it means Harvard University Muslim alumni? Lisa Mae Crowley tweeted it. That's a pretty good idea. Stephanie says, pictures resent. You're not a pest. Love you as well. Thanks for sending. Sue Randall, have you seen the clip where Bricks almost says Gates instead of State Department when asked what info they were going off of? And we know has it in his last video. I haven't seen it, but that's interesting. I'll check it out. Jeff Hughes says, can we refer to Barrick as Barry Sortero? The BS rather than BO abbreviation feels better. I don't have a problem with that. I'll try to remember to say it. And then Deadly Dust Bunny says, criminals and superheroes wear masks. I am neither. Well, still, you're here, Deadly Dust Bunny, and I would suggest that you are doing super work as being part of this this movement that we're all part of. Very important. I think that every single person here is the most important part of this movement. Methods, thanks for being here with me, buddy. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. And yeah, it's not a movement unless everybody's involved one way or another.
I was on the wrong screen. I just realized.
But yeah, no, so everybody's just as equally important. And Red Pill and I are very honored to be able to do what we do and hang out with everybody. So once again, thank you guys for hanging out on another great hour that just flew by.
Yeah.
And we look forward to tomorrow.
Absolutely. Love you guys. Thanks for being here. Thank you to Stephanie for sharing these beautiful animals with us. Ringtail possum, Cotamundi, some monkeys too, some capuchin monkeys, and that is another capuchin monkey, and whoever this man is to Stephanie. All right, guys, thanks for being here. Appreciate y'all. 2.7 thousand likes with 5,290 people watching. If you wouldn't mind giving us a like on the way out the door, would appreciate it. We will see you back here tonight at 6 p.m. for the news roundup, and then Methods and I will be back at 2 p.m. tomorrow for episode 21 of Quarantine. Good luck, everyone, and God bless.
Much love.